Author William P. McGivern was once asked to compare the movie version of The Big Heat to his novel. He generously said, "I don't think my book is a classic, but I think Fritz Lang's filmed version is. My story is more a modern fable, a fantasy we all enjoy reflecting on. A man hurt by the system in the most cruel way, and he fights back and he wins not only a physical victory, but a sort of intellectual and emotional catharsis." While Dave Banyan is depicted on screen as a loving husband and father set upon by villains, on the page, McGivern presented him from the outset as a righteous crusader, a man who turns to a parish priest and his dog-eared philosophy books for advice and consolation. The Banyan of the book deeply believes that there is an underlying order to the world and that man's inherent nature is good. After his wife's murder, his hell-bent quest for vengeance is depicted as a torturous moral struggle. He learns that there is an underlying order to the world, but it has nothing to do with inherent goodness. Now, there's a powerful scene late in the novel where Banyan confronts the dead cop's calculating widow. He's learned that she's extorting payoffs from both the cops and the crooks, using for leverage her husband's suicide note, which details Mike Lagana's bribery of police officials. Only in the event of her death will the note be made public. Now, in the book, Banyan just doesn't threaten her physically, he attempts to kill her. But at the last moment, he retains his humanity, lets her live. In the novel, as in the film, it's Debbie Marsh who ends up icing Bertha Duncan as a way of settling the score with her abusive boyfriend and helping out the nice guy cop. But there's a significant difference between the book and film versions, and that's where screenwriter Sidney Boehm earned his paycheck. In the book, Banyan learns in a phone call to Debbie that she has killed Mrs. Duncan. Boehm's script shows the scene, and he gives Debbie a classic line.
"We should use first names, Bertha. We're sisters under the mink."
You're not making any sense, Miss Marsh.
Before she pulls the .38 from the pocket of her fur coat and blasts away. It's a great scene, perfectly played by Gloria Graham and Jeanette Nolan. It's far more satisfying than what's in the novel. Boehm also gives Debbie a better third act, although both versions end badly for her. In the film, she pays Vince Stone back with a hot Java facial of his own before dying in the crossfire of the climactic gunfight. In the novel, Debbie's tough girl act crumbles, and knowing her days are numbered, she kills herself. Debbie's death scene in the movie is all Sidney Boehm, and it's remarkable for being simultaneously tender and callous. Having served her purpose, our favorite B-girl is allowed to expire on the floor unnoticed, while the hero waxes rhapsodic about his dead wife. After creating a heroic cop in The Big Heat, McGivern made a specialty of dirty lawmen in his next books, all of which were turned into big screen noirs. Barney Nolan, protagonist of Shield for Murder, is a self-righteous flatfoot who kills a bookie and steals 25 grand off the guy to fund his dreams of suburban leisure. In Rogue Cop, a police detective takes payoffs from gangsters to support his lavish lifestyle. In Hell on Frisco Bay, a fallen cop released from prison after serving time for manslaughter goes after the mobster who framed him. Odds Against Tomorrow, a disgraced cop is so embittered by his paltry pension, he masterminds the robbery of a small-town bank. Now, in one of the few interviews he gave, McGivern claimed that, quote, "Frustration in our society forms a powerful thrust for people to take the law into their own hands. And while this is a tempting indulgence, I've tried to make it plain in my books that it never really works." Well, such tempting indulgence does, however, form the essential template of film noir. Now, it's a shame that William P. McGivern hasn't achieved a legacy like that of colleagues David Goodis, Jim Thompson, Charles Willeford, and Lionel White. He may not have been in their class as a prose stylist, but his stories were always rock solid and totally satisfying. Next week, be sure to stop by for one of the earliest examples of film noir. And remember, we'll be showing Noir Alley twice. First on Saturday at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. West Coast, and then a repeat viewing 10 hours later, Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Until then, be part of the Noir Alley conversation on Facebook and Twitter, and visit the Noir Alley shop on the TCM website, where you can find all kinds of noir-oriented goodies, including coffee mugs. Trust me, you do not want to take it straight from the pot. See you back here next weekend.